Evening, Clay.
Hey, there we are.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing tonight? We got all kinds of chats coming in already. I'm behind the
Awesome.
8 ball on that. Didn't put them up there. So
I
Trampus
see you
Brenner.
busy there writing stuff down.
Yeah, Trampus Brenner. He's chiming in there. He says, "Good evening, everybody." Braden. Oh yeah, look at there. Lauer Auto Repair. Great sponsor of the show. Eric's on. Dan Brown. Hey, good to see you again. Brian. Hey, fellow MVE.
Yay.
And Waylon Turnus. So yeah, good to have everybody on.
Good evening, guys and gals.
Spent yesterday with Eric and his family and his parents down there. I tell you what, we had a good time. I really haven't been around fireworks much since I got blowed up. Not that I got anything against them, but yeah, I had a good time. That was Commie. Oh my goodness. I don't even have a commie. I don't put a deal up, but okay.
All right, Clay, let's hit it, man. Let's get right with what we start the show off with every week.
Here we go. You go ahead with.
All right. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
That's right. And I tell you what, we say this all the time, though. I mean, it is probably one of the most important amendments. It is the amendment that is keeping the enemies at bay right now.
Yep.
But I don't know how much, unless people actually are willing to stand up and use it. I don't know how much longer.
You know, Clay, they'll go to a certain point of aggression, and it's in their minds that we got it. We don't have to use them, and hopefully never do. But I mean, they know we got them, and that's part of of our defense right there. They're just them, the enemies of freedom, just knowing that we have them, and it could be used on them is a bit of a deterrent. So,
David. Hey, listen up. Uncle Buck and Clay got some wisdom. All right. Thanks there, David.
Right
1760
on,
sports, so you can't go wrong there, guys.
Nope.
No, I'm just going to reflect a little bit. We just celebrated Independence Day. I know a lot of people they don't even understand what this is about. Really, if people really want to get down to it, Declaration of Independence was signed. Actually, I don't know if anyone realizes this. It wasn't signed until August 2nd, 1776. We didn't have the technology we got now. So, in retrospect, it took that many months after July. And then on July 2nd, when they actually passed the resolution to adopt the Declaration of Independence, but it wasn't written yet. And it wasn't until July 4th when they finally had the 200 copies that they had what was the name of the publisher? I don't remember on the top of my head anymore, but they made the 200 copies, and then they went public with it and told everybody what we were going to do. And I mean, leading up to that, think about it. You had 56 men sign the Declaration of Independence, which was essentially their death warrant if we lost. These men gave up.
And an evil death at that.
Evil death. It would have been horrible. The British were not a compromising, and they were pissed.
The British, they were like cartels to people they didn't like, too. They'd cut you up alive.
And they don't teach this history anymore. That's what really torques me off. I've taught my children, and I know like Eric and several other people do teach their children what really happened there. But can you imagine giving up everything in your life? I mean, because that's what they did. They put their treasure, they put their future, they put their possessions all on the line. Didn't even hesitate, really. I mean, there was a lot of discussion that took place. You always had your dissenters, but I can tell you right now, those men that signed that document, and if you go look through history, they actually did lose a lot of things by doing that throughout the rest of their lives.
Lost everything and died freaking with nothing.
But they believed so much in what they were doing and getting out from under the tyranny that they went ahead and did it. And I think that's been lost with the barbecues and fireworks. And like we were talking last night there. How come someone in America can't make fireworks? Why do we got to get them from China?
Yeah, I don't know. Chinese got it dialed in. I mean, you think we could, but
you would think, right? But anyway, that was my little rant on Independence.
I mean, Sam Adams did say to celebrate it with all the pomp and fireworks and guns. He did say guns because Clay, I'll get into it a little later here, but on that video I put on YouTube, you'll see a bunch of the social media flag police coming after me on there saying something about my flag there, and it's and America's not about guns. And guess what? You people are wrong about a lot of things, and we're going to get into that. But first, Clay.
Yes.
Hey, man. First of all, that was awesome. That's some good history you got there.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm. It's very dear and near to my heart is our history and our founding, and I don't even have to look that stuff
Yeah,
up. I mean, I still
yeah,
remember it all.
yeah. I love it. I love July and I love Independence Day.
Oh yeah,
I'm thankful for the founders and framers of this country for what they did. I don't know if I'd have the
absolutely.
sack to do that, but
I mean, think about
especially
it.
with muskets.
200 and what 47 years ago.
Yeah,
247 years ago, and
awesome, man. That was great. I
I
loved
just
it.
and it's right now we're probably at a pivotal point right now,
Yep.
more so than I've ever seen. Um, I know what side I'm on. I know what side you're on.
Oh yeah.
So and we're out there. We really are. And seeing the kids yesterday, from both Eric's families and our families, and then his sister-in-law was there as well, Charity's sister-in-law, and seeing those kids and what they were doing, and they know that they're on the right side. And I hope that there's millions of other families out there doing the same thing we were doing, and teaching the
Mhm.
same thing to their kids, because that's the only way we survive. They're not doing it
Once you
in
hit
the
a
government public school system.
Once you hit a few of these comments, and then we'll go to the poll results and the
Yeah.
review here on the hot long range shooting.
Gene Cox says it's only treason if you lose. That's right. It's only treason if you. I actually had some people
Love
going,
Gene's
"Hey,
wisdom on
happy
here.
treasonous day,"
Yeah,
which
yeah, I like those ones.
Jay Titan. They don't teach blank in school. Guys, I'm going to try to be. I don't care if you're saying it there, but we're getting bleeped from some things, so I'm just going to kind of hold off my profanity as much as I can. But they don't teach anything in school other than making sure that we have a bunch of moronic youth running around, gay pride, rap music, brainwashing to vote for the wrong people. And you're right.
Yep,
It's
100% right,
indoctrination.
Titan.
What's even worse is they use our money to do it, and then
Yeah,
tell us we have no say in it. And I'm going to
that's
tell
what
you right
really
now,
sucks.
and Marty Beard's been pounding this drum for years. Get involved in your local communities. Get involved in your local
Mhm.
school boards. Run. Don't just show up to the meeting. Run. Challenge these people. Get them voted out and run a campaign. Run for your county commission. I did. I mean, I got defeated this time, but not by much. And if I'd have had time to run a decent campaign, I'm not sure I would have lost. But
Mhm.
I had no one to blame but myself. And to be honest, I wasn't very prepared for it. So,
Yeah.
but I'm going to do it again. And I think, you know what, guys? Local city councils, county commission, school boards, get involved in them local entities, because that's where the change comes. It just does.
So Lynette's got a comment up there. Do teachers teach any of this history today nowadays? Yeah, I don't know if all of them do, Lynette, but I will tell you this: my youngest daughter just went through her 5th grade year, and her history teacher, they did talk about it and some Second Amendment stuff, which she said something to me. I'm not going to get in depth about it, but I said back to her, I don't think she has that right. And she took it in and showed something to her teacher, and her teacher was like, "Why? I didn't realize that. I think that is right." So, man, I like that kind of open-mindedness. So, but yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't know whose teachers don't, but for
I can
the
tell you right
record,
now,
my daughter's 5th grade teacher did, and I truly appreciate that.
the government and history teacher now that Lemon has is, as far as I'm concerned, worthless. I don't think much of her. She can't even answer simple questions when I ask her about the Constitution. And granted, it's questions that maybe not everybody knows generally. But
Mhm.
you're the history and government teacher. You're the teacher. You're the one
Yeah.
that's supposed to teach the kids
When
about the
yeah.
Constitution. And when you can't tell me right off the top of your head how many amendments are in the Constitution, you can't tell me what the actual wording is of the Second Amendment. She couldn't even tell me all the rights guaranteed in the First Amendment. Yes, she got the normal ones, which ones normal people get: speech and religion, right?
Oh yeah.
They forget there's 3 other ones in there. And
Really?
oh.
They don't pertain to nowadays, though.
Yeah, that don't pertain, does it?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about this. Braden, good to see you back. I think Braden's coming out to my house tonight. That's my youngest son's one of his buddies, so it's good to have him coming back out.
Coming out to the Peterson compound there.
That's right, the Peterson political.
John Hancock had huge manhood. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys. I mean, not even like guys that aren't as big name as John Hancock, man. If you actually look into it, some of these guys are unbelievable. You just don't hear their names, and I don't know why, but whatever. But there's guys. If you like Clay said, these 56 guys. If you actually looked into it, some of the other ones, the stuff they did and said is is unbelievable.
You need to go and look
They're
them
awesome.
up and then look at the history of some of these men and that signed it. And I'm telling you, it's amazing. And yeah, you don't hear their names. You just don't hear them. I guess I should have put that list together for tonight. And my apologies because I've just been busy.
Yeah, come on, Peterson, get it together, man.
Eric says we do homeschooling, and they do. Eric and Charity do a fantastic job with their children. They homeschool them all. And then we got a lot of that. And actually, homeschooling's growing. It's kind of funny. I encourage it. If you've got the time and want to put the resources into it, I think that's a fantastic thing to do because you can give them the kind of education you want. Not only that, you screw up the state aid for these public indoctrination centers. And I've been catching hell because I have really shifted on this. I want public schools defunded to the point that for one, they're not based on property taxes. They shouldn't be based on only property taxes because that's what they mostly are. And get back to teaching. And you only do that by taking their money away. They'll have to listen. And you know what? They don't have to do a lot of this crap. Kick the feds out of your school. You can do it. You absolutely can do it. But they don't because they want that money. And that's the only way the feds get in. Kick them out.
Super conservative states, I don't see them doing it. I think anything short of a big revolution is not going to.
I'll tell you, the only school that I know is Wyoming. Wyoming, for the most part, a lot of their schools do not take federal funding. Did you know that? There's a lot of them out there. I'm not saying they've got their issues too, but I can always
everything does.
I can tip my hat to the fact that a lot of their schools, not all of them, but a lot of them don't take federal money because they don't want to be told what to do. And I can respect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
David said, no name on document is less than others, but the FU John H. Hard mess. Yeah. And it's probably
because he signed it real big with his name, John. That's why it's called the John Hancock. Because John Hancock signed his name real big on the.
And from what I understand at that time in history, he didn't really know that this is now, and I can't confirm it, but supposedly he didn't realize that he wasn't going to be the only one to sign it because I forget which position he held at that time in the Continental Congress. So he thought his name was going to be the only one on it. That's one story I've heard. And then didn't realize everybody was going to sign it. So it's okay. It's the most recognizable signature, probably.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's name is famous forever now. I'm reading a comment here. Vance has they do say the pledge in my kids' school yet, Vance, at least in the elementary school. When you get to middle school, they ain't gonna say it no more, man. Honestly, when I was in middle school here at Simley, it's still here. That was in '84. We didn't say the pledge there either, but in grade school we always did. So
I have to say that even through high school, all the way through when I was in high school, we said the pledge every single morning. The lady in the office would come on, and we would say the pledge and stand up and face our flag. In every single classroom had a flag in it.
Oh yeah,
say the pledge, and then we got
my
the
whole way through high school we did for sure. Not a rainbow one, but
no, we didn't have that crap.
It was Old Glory. So. All right, Clayton, I'll tell you what. Let's get into some gun shit here.
See, he said, Jay Tight, he says, YouTube is blacklisting for language. I bet if you were wearing a thong with a rainbow flag, YouTube would be, okay, whatever you want. You're probably right.
I mean, they'll let you get away with some language. They just don't want you having a gun on when you're doing a live stream, which is ridiculous.
And language thing is more because and I'll just be honest, we got some younger kids starting to watch this show, which is great. I'm glad. That means they're actually getting real information. And that's kind of why we want to not do as much of it, but you know what? I'm not trying to stifle anybody. You say what you want to say.
I'm going to do my best not to do it. We can throw F-bomb in. Everybody knows what that is.
Yeah, that's right. Our history teacher, David, said that the reason was because he believed the royal family had poor eyesight.
Yeah, they do. I thought a lot of the Tommies had that. I thought that was just the kind of their genetics.
Devin the weirdo. Well, I'm assuming that might be Braden's brother. His name is Devin. So if I'm correct, thank you. I'm glad you're watching.
All right, Clay. Here, I'll tell you what. We're 20 after. We're dang near. We're going to do a first commercial for our John Hancock supporter. For our
the big
Colorado repair, the big John Hancock here. All right. The 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads, so now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lowry you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service.
All right. Again, I just want to say my thanks to Lauer Auto Repair and Axe down there. I tell you what, can't say enough. And it sounds like from what I was talking to you on the phone, we might have another range day one of these days, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like they want to get one going, whether we can get everybody together or not before summer's over and in between everybody's vacations. We shall see. I'll swing down and talk to Axe this week.
I'll tell you what, if I get a good week in, I'll be done haying, and so I won't have that in the way. I got plenty of other things to do, but
as long as you quit getting rain down there, dang rain hogs down there in Northtown.
I'm not going to complain, that's for sure. So, well, I suppose we've wasted half of the first hour.
How about a waste? That's some good conversation. I mean,
but I suppose we better get into our poll, our latest
poll.
Let's
do it, man. I love it. So, all right, Clayton, let's hit it, man. I got some comments, too, we're going to get into. So,
what's going on here? Let's try it again. There it goes. All right.
There we go.
So, this is our latest poll. We had this posted on our Facebook page, Guns in the 701. And it's, what is the farthest range that you've hit a target? And I'm just going to let you run through these. I'll give them yards and you kind of go through it. Okay?
All right, go for it, Clayton.
So I'm going to start with our first place winner at 31%. And like you were saying, it kind of surprised you and it kind of did.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
That's 1,000 yards or more. So go ahead and you can break that down.
1,000 yards or more. That was 31% of the votes. There were 22. We had 22 votes for that, which was Clayton. I said we were kind of surprised, right, Clayton? That
I kind of was.
That many people would, and there was actually a lot of comments on for, I thought we'd have more votes, but we didn't. But our buddy Scott Bachmeyer there from Dakota Prairie Outdoors, he said he might have been a lot of luck, but he got a pronghorn at 947 and a coyote at 1147, which is pretty damn good. And I actually was antelope hunting with Scott, and he shot his antelope at, I want to say it was 500 yards, got it right in the heart, which is pretty sweet. So I don't doubt that. And then some people 636. Bill Van Oosting got dropped a whitetail buck 22,250, spined it, but hey, guess what? It slows it down, right?
A hit's a hit, right?
Yeah. Corey Merriman, 906 yards, 18-inch plate. That's pretty good. We got an 18-inch out at our place at 700. So.
And Corey actually he just went to a long range along with DJ Doug Thompson, other listener of the show. They were just down in the hills at a long range seminar. So that was great. I'm sure that's where he was kind of learning some new tricks.
I'm just kind of hitting the 900 yarders because that's not on my list. I kind of went by two. Steve Langley, our old buddy from the Friends NRA out in Minnesota now, 996. Doesn't say what he got it with. Travis Roy, 800,999,009 yards as a Daisy Red Rider.
Travis.
Gene Cox, he got one. He's in the 1,000-yard club there. So all right,
well, I know that Doug Thompson hit the White Buffalo out at Whittington.
Yeah. Yep,
and I believe that's right at 1,100. I don't honestly remember, but it's over 1,000 yards.
I think it is over. I think it is over 1,000 there. But all right, so Clay coming in second place at 27%, 400 yards.
28%.
It bumped up there, huh?
It did. Well, we got 400 yards at 28%. Yeah, I just took that right before we come on there.
Sniped it. Yeah, somebody jumped on and got it. So 400 just went ahead, and that would be 20 votes then for 400, right?
Yep. 400. Yep.
Okay. Yep. And then we're going next 27%, 600 yards.
Yep.
Which I'll tell you what, out at our place, I'll get into it when we're done with. But all right, 600 yards.
Then we came in at 800 yards came in at 12%, so that'd be fourth place, and then 200 yards at 2%. And you know what? That honestly, that didn't surprise me. That's the farthest range. A lot of people shoot farther than that. Now, you take and analyze that a little bit. I can tell you right now that most of my big game hunting and my shots are probably 200 yards or less. And that's a different poll if we were going to do it. But most of my kill shots come in at 200 or less. I just know they do. But as far as my longest shot, yeah. So, that's why I'm sure that 200-yard deal was a little lower.
Yeah. I thought maybe we get a few more on the 200, but I mean, I bet if we lived somewhere there's a lot of trees, that would probably be a lot higher, but
probably,
but yeah, so I didn't vote in the poll, Clay, but I will tell you, out at our ranch, you could go back to 2000 if you wanted to, if you proned out, but from our tables, we can go as of right now to 800, but we used to have an 18-inch gun. It was 18 inches wide by 2 feet or something. And I don't have a long range rig. I usually 600 yards is about the longest I ever shoot, which I'm pretty damn confident at 600 with my Creed. But yeah, I mean, my buddies have long range setups, and I'll shoot them. And I mean, I hit them.
Right.
It's honestly, I think it's pretty easy when you get the right scope and you do your thing and you click in all your MOA and whatever these guys got doing that. And they're just like holding the middle. I'm like, that's it. Yeah. Well.
Blade Rain TVs. He's chiming in. Good to see you listening in again.
He's ready for hunting season, man. Fall's coming.
I tell you what, this weather felt like fall, didn't it?
Oh man, I'm sorry, Andy. I'm ready for some hundreds.
Vance chimed in here at 1,760 yards.
Nice.
I did too. Vance and I and our buddy Waylon Little Eagle, all part of Rack's adventure team, we went down to Riverton, Wyoming, and went to the seminar, basically a long range school here there for 2 days with the Lucid group out of Riverton. Jason Wilson, big supporter, guys. One thing about it, I've been thinking about this. We'll talk about it later. I'm doing Commie Companies of the week, but I think I'm going to start featuring very pro Second Amendment, patriotic,
good idea,
USA companies, and
maybe
that's one of them.
Or something.
Yeah, just I think we need to recognize those people too. Well, Lucid is one of those, and we were using all Lucid gear, and yeah, we shot the 1,760, which is that's a mile, guys. Now, granted, I haven't really done it since, and I'm sure it would take me a little to dial back in. And we didn't have all the fancy stuff. We were using his scopes, and we were actually doing the math. There's a little bit to that. Now, you can use things like Straylock. Straylock takes a lot of the guesswork out, but it's good to learn how to do it without that app. Then it's, the app's just great because you don't have to sit there and do all them calculations. But I can tell you one thing right now, guys, it's not what you think it is. It's not easy. We were hitting 4x4. That's 4 foot by 4 foot steel at a mile. That sounds big, right? That thing looked a little
not
out
a mile.
there. And I missed it the first shot. So, I mean, it took some time. You had to settle in and get your bearings and get it done. And I had a great time. So David Fetting puts a 1,000 chip shot.
I'm going to agree with David, man. When I shot that gong at 900, my buddy Tony was out. It was a 308 even, the old junk cartridge that nobody shoots anymore, the 308 with, I can't remember if it was 168 Sierra Match Kings or if it was 178. But that's what he did. I mean, I proned out and it was at 978 or 9, whatever it was. And then I'm not being cocky, but I hit the thing right in the middle of my first shot. And I'm like, all right, that was pretty sweet. I mean, Tony had it all set up. He just turned his things in and he went back to, I think 12 something. Okay. And shot, and he shot, and I think I picked up my beer and took a drink and set it back down, and then we heard it hit. That's about how long it took for that 308. But he daggered it, man. It was fun. I enjoy doing that. Not enough to where I'm gonna buy that kind of stuff and get into it. But if somebody has a gun there, you can go back to end October. Our neighbor guy Tanner Dolbeck brought down I think it was a 6mm Creed.
Okay.
And I got right at the gong, right by my camper. We proned out there on the dirt, and we were smoking the gong at 700. I made a short video on that. And then next week, my buddy Rob came out, just a Tika 7mm mag with this Quigley Scopy one. And that was just with drop reticles, ended out to 1,000. And I mean, he almost bullseyed it, and I shot it. And yeah, it was awesome, man. Rob's deadly with that thing too. And
I love shooting distance. I should shoot more of it and get. I'm sure I'm a little bit out of practice. That's something you got to do. Anyone tells you, if you got guys out there saying, "Yeah, I shoot 1,000 yards all the time," and then they can't hit nothing, well, they're not doing.
Well,
it
I've seen that happen too, Clay. So yeah, I mean, you
David
got to be good on a trigger. You got to be a good shooter. So
David said something here. Stray lock has been banned in app stores. Don't delete or update, and I haven't on my phone, so I just checked it out. He's right.
I don't know what that is.
That's an app that allows, and I've got Straylock Pro. So you take your bullet, you take what you're shooting, you take the gun, you put it all in there, you put your load in there and enter it, and then you can put your reticle for your scope in there. You give the distance, take your range, take the distance, estimate your wind, and it'll give you where you should be shooting. It really it does exactly what a burst eliminator does.
I was going to say, sounds like an eliminator.
Yeah, it does. It's exactly what it's doing, except it's in your app. I bought the Pro deal, but I didn't realize
you just have crosshairs and then guess and then blow the deer's leg off. Right?
Do a little Kentucky wind, dude. Yeah. So I didn't know that. So that's good to know, and that's bad to hear. But it doesn't surprise me.
I see we missed some of them comments there. Clay, as guys were shooting at range. Why don't you read some of those here after you get?
Yeah. So we got mule deer. This is from One Shot Cap. Mule deer, 420 yards.
Oh yeah, 270.
I love my 270. That's my go-to deer gun. It just is.
420, man. You got a big buck out there. That's
Gene Cox, 6-foot circle at 1,000 yards with military rifles, 8x57 303 Brit. Oh yeah, I know Gene shoots a 303 Brit quite often.
What the hell you say? Who's the governor?
Some tea and crumpets. Anyway, Jay Titan, he's chiming in here. I can't hit anything at point blank. Well, then you must shoot a bow.
Yeah.
I just said that for
Andy. Get that crossbow out, Andy.
Let's see. What do we got here? Gene's got my deer shots are under 75 yards. And that's just it. I can honestly tell you, especially I hunt my own private land. There's no pressure here because I don't let any pressure here because it's for me and my boys until we're done or selected family and friends. So there's not a lot of pressure on this land. Most of my shots are 100 yards or less, and I'm okay with that. I like that. That's the joy of owning land.
I mean, there we go. I guess honestly, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. TV.
You love
Andy,
it, Blade
USA
Rain. %. Our buddy Andy, if you haven't checked him out on Blade Rain TV, get on his social media there and check him out.
Yeah, he's got a great
Andy
channel
on last week. I actually listened to that podcast there. Andy's on the Bowman. Nice job, man. You and them guys did a good job, Andy. Like I said, I'm not a huge bow hunting man. I do bow hunt, but you guys make it pretty interesting. I enjoyed it. Good job there.
And I think you picked up a few new subscribers because we put it out there. I know several of the guys that were listening to this said, "Hey, I'm going to go check it out."
And so had a good video there for Independence Day too. What he was shooting.
Yes, they did. I like that. Thanks for tagging us. That was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved that. That's good stuff.
So David's got in here. Commies claimed that they spotted a Ukraine sniper or a Russian sniper using it, which would be Straylock. So they deemed it a war tool. Plus, Igor is Russian. That's the guy who developed it. Yeah, so go figure. I'm so sick of this Ukraine thing. Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Eric's got in there. Isn't that the app that's for guns the same as the crossbow in the archery world? Oh, yeah, you just knew he was going to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And One Shot Cap, he's got my son is a good hunter. He gives big game more warning shots than most hunters do. Hey, just making it fair.
Right? Just giving him a chance, man. Speaking of giving him a chance, if you guys like we're talking about our poll here, I'm going to have a good one coming up this week, and I'm quite certain I'm going to be in a tiny little minority on this one, Clay.
I don't know if you want to announce it or you want to wait till Friday morning.
Yeah, we'll wait. Yeah, I'm going to put it up by tomorrow. But if you guys want a good poll, I don't know if I can put this video up. I got it, what I want to associate with the poll. But my buddy Jay Diggity was out with me at the ranch this weekend. We were spotting deer, and we seen some predators, and I got a video of it. And Diggity didn't agree with what I was saying, but we'll get into that next week when we go over the poll. But it was good, man. Go ahead.
So there's two things I want to put up here before we go on to the next thing. First of all, I think you made this. It was on our page, and I want to thank him. So happy Independence Day, America.
How would I make that?
Yesterday, of
Some
course.
people say hate Donald Trump, Clay. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
and this is actually, I think I sent this to you.
Yeah,
There
you
was
did.
someone that did some AI image productions with
I love
Trump,
that
and this is
thing,
what
man.
they came up with.
I
That's
love it.
one of them.
I think
This
that's
one, I
cool.
love this one.
Oh, yeah.
That one worked out good.
Isn't
and
that
guys,
George Bush, actually, when he got off on the aircraft carrier?
I think it is. I think that is exactly
Because
what
remember, a
that's
bunch
from.
of the lefties are making a big deal that he stuffed
Oh,
a
yeah.
sock in his crotch because he had a big, looked like he had a.
This is probably one of my most
There
favorite
goes
ones.
an MBE right there.
For you guys that are listening on the podcast, this AI image production, it's got Donald Trump, and he's in full gear. He's got his AR, and he's ready to rock and roll. And honestly,
he got the vest on, the mag pouch, and
right now that's probably what he should be wearing, because he's
yeah,
going up against.
honestly,
and I'm going to join him if he does. It's
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And this one here, that was having, it's got Trump there, and it's got the cross.
That'll
basically
trigger
with,
some lefties.
Christ being crucified, and I know what they're doing there with the relation of it. So those of you on the podcast, please go check out the YouTube or Facebook with the replay here, and look up episode 49.
Yeah,
watch it, and
they're good pictures. I mean, even if you're not a huge Trump fan, they're cool pictures. And hey, guess what? When the leftists see those, it triggers the hell out of them. Anytime you can trigger them, it's fun to do. So speaking of triggered, Clay, before we want to read some comments or go on anymore, if anybody's seen it, I posted a video for Independence Day at the farm. I was holding my AR. I got a flag. It's Old Glory, and I mean the wind beat the living crap out of it here about 3-4 years ago during deer season, and I just kind of kept it around. And
you caught some crap for that, didn't you?
yeah, I knew I would too. I put it up there, and right away the Facebook police and the social media flag police were out. That flags are a freaking disgrace. If you're not supposed to be burned, you shouldn't be having that. Did you drag that behind your Jeep, you redneck? And there's let's play a little bit of the video right there. So I'll tell you what, Clay, I've heard this for a long time about there's people who get upset about the flag, and I'll give you my opinion on it. I don't care if you got a tattered flag, or people get mad like women wear bikinis with the flag on it. You're not supposed to do that. Or you got a shirt on or a cap with the flag. You know what I say, Clay? Stuff like that. If somebody's willing to go out and put the flag out, whatever they're wearing or whatever their flag looks like. I have nice flags. Believe me, I have perfect flags. Matter of fact, my North Dakota flags are made in USA. So that particular flag there.
There you go. There's one for you. Well, can you guys see that? That there's Blade Rain, and that there's 4th of July. We're just messing around here.
Love it.
And
nice job, Andy.
And of course, Jamie was having some fun, it looked like, here on 4th of July.
Yeah, those are little AR fireworks.
We had those last year for the boys. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, those are cool.
And,
but yeah, so Clay, to finish up real quick, I don't care if you got a tattered flag, or if you wear your bikini, or you got a T-shirt with the United States flag on it, or a mug, or you're not supposed to disgrace the flag by putting it on a shirt or a mug. Or you know what I wore yesterday, Clay? It was a whitetail legendary whitetails. It was a big whitetail head with the American flag. If you're out there, I don't care what if you're out there putting whatever your flag's on, because you're supporting your country, which the image of the flag, no matter what it is. If it isn't something stupid, you know what I mean? Like you're making fun of the flag. I didn't put that video up there to make fun of the flag at all. I put it up there because I think that flag, it looks kind of, hey, we're kind of in dire straits here. The flag's kind of tattered. We're getting beat up a little bit. That was kind of what and the people who hate it, I got bad news for you. Most people freaking loved it. So when I first saw it, I seen that it was ripped. I can tell you right now, there were a lot of ripped flags, whether it was the United States flag we know today, whether it was the Betsy Ross 13 stars. I mean, whatever flag that our men were carrying in the battle at that time, there was a lot of ripped flags with bullet holes and tattered, because it showed exactly what they were going through. I thought it actually symbolized. When I was out at NRA headquarters, when I worked for NRA, there was a guy that had one up there in his office. It was a revolutionary flag, and he bought it at an auction somewhere. This was his own personal flag. I'm telling you what, that was the coolest thing I ever seen. And
So he was telling me the story that it actually was one that was on one of the battlefields out there, which they're out in Virginia on east. There was a lot of battlefields to get
Oh
one
yeah.
from, and he paid a lot of money for it, but he was proud of it. And I'm telling you, there were bullet holes through it. I mean, there was a hole in there that looked like to me that was I bet you that was a small cannon hole.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
you could still see the burn marks on it, and he had it proudly displayed. And to
Yeah.
me, that was very, I don't know, very surreal. I mean, there's something that's over 200 years old hanging in that guy's office at headquarters in NRA, part of our history of our Revolutionary War. And that flag probably said more than anything just looking at it. Who knows how many people carried that and fell and picked it up and carried it again and fell. Picked it up again and carried it and fell.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's crazy.
Cool.
Those guys didn't even have guns. They were just flag carriers. But yeah. Hey man, if Independence Day's around, I don't care if it's not Independence Day. If you're wearing the red, white, and blue, good on you, man. I will never bash anybody for supporting our colors and our flag, no matter what you got it on.
So I'm going to put up a couple of comments about this. Really went off a different road than we were planning, but David Fetty, that flag is more American than the Crybabies on. That's true.
Yeah, I agree, Dave. Thanks, man.
Brian, I love it. We're kind of proud of this ragged old flag, and that's awesome. If you haven't heard Johnny Cash's song, Ragged Old Flag, go and listen to it.
That'll give you goosebumps, actually. It does me, Clay. It gives me goosebumps when I hear it.
And it walks you through all of our wars, all of our battles. And maybe it's because I've had so many family members either lost or they made it home or they've been injured. I mean, we've had family members in a lot of our wars, and I can tell you right now that it's kind of near and dear to my heart. My grandpa probably served in World War II. My uncles were in Vietnam. I had a couple other, they were great uncles. They served actually in Korean War, the Forgotten War. Had some in Iraq. Well, what's that?
So not by me.
Not by and I've even had some of my cousins served in Iraq, both of them, Desert Storm. I mean, we've had people in these conflicts in our family, so it's like I said, it's near and dear, and it does show you the cost of freedom. It's real.
Yeah. What do you got? What Jay Titan? What's he got there?
He's got ripped or not, fly that red, white, and blue.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. I don't care what it looks like. If you're proud enough to support our country and our flag, by all means, do it.
Gene Cox, not to brag here, but I could hit a target at 15,000 meters, use my uncle's howitzer.
Hey, man, by all means, brag about that, Gene. That's a hell of a shot, howitzer or not, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And Gene's got a nickname, on Scott's show. He's always called the mayor of Mobridge.
He's not really the mayor or what?
No, I believe Gene was the mayor. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Gene. I'm pretty sure you were the mayor.
I think he is.
I think you were the councilman. Maybe you still are. I don't know. I haven't been over there for so long. So I used to see Gene a lot when we did a banquet over there.
He's about 15,000 yards. That's meters. That's the sniper of Mobridge by the sounds of it.
There you go. All right. So I'll tell you what, we're coming up at 20-7. Why don't we do another timeout?
We'll run double here.
Run the double, and we'll come back and we'll get into some of the Commie United Nations things.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, coming back. Yeah, United Nations trying to get in on your ammo. Here we go. The 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads, so now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lowry you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota. 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by The Blind Guy of North Dakota. For all your custom window coverings, you can contact them at 701-222-3932. They're freedom-minded, they're patriotic, and they love the Second Amendment. This husband-wife team was born and raised right here in North Dakota and based out of Bismarck. Again, for your Second Amendment company, for all your custom window coverings, The Blind Guy of North Dakota, 701-222-3932 or visit them on the web at blindguynd.com. All right. Yeah. Again, we want to thank our sponsors, Lauer Auto Repair down there in 309 South Washington. Guys, check him out. If you need an oil change, you're just having a tune-up done, or if you're in town and something bad's happening, give him a call down there, and he will get you set up as best as he can. If he doesn't know the answer, he will find it out for you. Trust me on that. So
yeah, and then make sure you go in there. If you do any business with the Blind Guy, tell me you appreciate him supporting guns and the 701, baby.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the United Nations, but I got to put this up first.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see. There you go. You know what, UN? There's your little blue helmet. Welcome to America.
Oh, something. That's funny. I like that.
That's going to be my target right there. Their little UN helmet. And
a robin egg color.
There you go. So if you're on the podcast, go see what I just posted up there. Maybe we should throw that up on our Facebook page. So basically what's happening here, let's see. Oh, right here. I'll put up one more comment here. Eric Scott, I'd like to support Lauer Auto, but my vehicles that need a good mechanic, I don't trust them to go that
far. Have Clay pull you up here next time.
There you go. I'll put it on the trailer and take it.
Yeah, put a trailer and you drive that thing home with no worries after Dougie gets a hold of it.
So for everyone that doesn't know, United Nations, for one, we need to pull out of the United Nations. We should have never joined it as far as I'm concerned. I know Trump was working to get us out of there, but every Democrat, leftist, Marxist, communist, they love it because that's what it's made up of. They're really behind this one world government, one world order type stuff. They want the USA, the sovereign nation of the United States, to submit to all this BS that the rest of the world, and we just had Independence Day and we fought a war to not be part of that kind of crap. We didn't want to be ruled by anybody else, and nor should we. So never forget that. Our enemies are always at work, and they are at work in the UN right now. So on June 9th, 2023, so just a few weeks ago, the United Nations open-ended working group on conventional ammunition. And of course, they love to have their little initials, and that's OEWG. They concluded their development of a new global framework to address existing gaps in through-life conventional ammunition management. And it was despite anything like the Russian
Federation. So hold on a minute, Clay. Let me stop you for a second, because I told you I didn't get this very good.
Yes. Go for it.
So through life, like what? Like how long you own it or what?
That's a good question.
Or until like they think the ammo is not going to work anymore.
As with everything, they didn't define it. It's just like they didn't in this whole report, they didn't define conventional ammunition stockpiles. They didn't define things such as let's see what I'm going to look it up here now again. I just added I look stupid here now.
Well, yeah, whether you get a 25, what
conventional
a
ammo, yeah,
whether it leaves the door open to whether it's a 25 round box of 22 or not.
And there was some other terminology,
which it does. I guarantee you that's a stockpile to them. I'll promise you.
They left it open ended for a reason. Stockpile. They didn't. Okay, they didn't even define stockpile. They didn't define end user. They put these terms in there and didn't define them, and that was all done. That was done by design because they're going to go ahead and determine them as they feel and change them as they feel. And you're right.
Are these guys game wardens?
Kind of, right? They definitely believe in the open fields doctrine, just on people's property. Which, by the way, I think Friday, or I don't know if we'll do it Friday or Monday, but I think we're going to have a follow-up on that as far as what was happening out in Virginia and the open fields doctrine and how far back that goes. I didn't realize it goes back to 1920, guys. It was a Supreme Court decision then. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. Basically, you got arguments that happen there. And the NRA, guys, they can keep bashing the NRA all they want. The NRA was the only organization that was there listening, keeping tabs on these meetings. This stuff actually started years ago when they started talking about ammunition and how the United States has to get a hold on the ammunition supply. They've been losing the battle because we have a Second Amendment on guns. So that's what they were going after. And February 22nd, they reconvened and started work on this again. And the NRA was your NRA ILA They were the only ones that attended every single one of these meetings.
Well, they had one guy there with them from SAMI,
shooting.
Sporting Arms and Ammunition Manufacturers Institute, SAMI, your SAMI spec ammo. And
yes, but I mean, as far as your very big Second Amendment organizations,
yeah, not there. Nobody, not ammo manufacturers, and nobody was there.
Nobody. No Gun Owners of America, no National Shooting Sports Foundation, no Second Amendment Foundation. All these groups, and granted, they've been doing their lawsuits on the brace deal, and they're having some success. But this is probably more important than some of that. I'm glad they're out there contesting that, but I can tell you this is really important because depending on what administration's in power, these would essentially become law without even being law in our own sovereign nation. You cannot enter into a treaty without the consent of the Senate. But Joe and his administration can treat it as if we did, just like the Paris Accord or any of these other things.
That's common sense, man.
Yeah, common sense. And that's the problem. You take these regulatory alphabet agencies like ATF. Do you think for a minute that the ATF won't enforce this kind of a global initiative taking place in the United Nations with absolutely no congressional oversight on it? I think they'll do it. And you're right. You could have something as simple as a 25-round box be basically it could be considered a stockpile of ammunition. I mean, do you remember when they wanted us all to buy essentially what they call those different names, but it was essentially a stockpile ammunition license.
Yeah, was it when Obama was in there?
Oh, it's been tried. Yeah,
he wanted to do that with gunpowder too for reloading.
Yep. It was an arsenal license, and if it was over 1,000 rounds, some of them said 5,000 rounds. I even heard 10,000 rounds. They kept changing it. They're trying to scare people. It didn't matter what they came up with. I fell under all of them. Yeah. I mean, you can buy 1,000 rounds of 22 shells in a bucket, and I'd had to have a basically an arsenal license. Or I have I don't even know how many pounds of powder I have in my reloading stuff, but I would have been subject to a license. And you know what? My Second Amendment right isn't up for licensing. That's why I never really cared much for concealed carry permits. But that was also, even though I supported what we were doing with them, that was just the door to open up constitutional carry. I knew we'd never get constitutional carry without having the concealed weapon permit first, because it provided us data showing that it didn't matter. It was we weren't the problem, and there was no reason to fear constitutional carry.
So I was kind of distracted, Clay. Maybe you went over this or you didn't, but the NRA was there for the end of this meeting, and they got a couple of the more egregious provisions that were in there taken out. Like they removed the requirement for an individual, like you said, end user, to tell everybody they had this stockpile, and then they wanted to serialize every freaking round of ammunition.
Every single round. We've heard that before from the commie states.
Every round.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the expense? And can it be done? I don't even know if it's feasible.
Yeah.
Think about that. Millions and millions and millions of rounds of ammunition.
That's ridiculous. That is unbelievable to me.
It's just ridiculous.
They're not trying to do anything for safety there. That's just a way to see what you got and just to harass you and just saying
they're throwing mud on the wall and see what sticks and see what they can get supported. Yeah. But yes, and that's where I talked about here. So I found another report on this, and within those 15 objectives and the wording. So that end user thing. So they got NRA was successful in this, but they didn't define end user. So now in September, this goes to the General Assembly, and the General Assembly of the UN can strip all that out anyway and put everything back in. So really what they just did, it doesn't matter. I myself feel that the General Assembly, being it's full of freaking socialists, Marxists, and commies, they'll put it all back in there anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's going to be up to our congressional delegations in the Senate and the House to put their thumb on this. They're going to have to do it, and we got some guys I know that'll work to do that, but we got some in there that they ain't even going to pay attention. They don't care. And they claim to be conservative constitutionalists, but they don't give a crap.
Yeah, so no matter what you think of Nikki Haley when she was Trump's UN secretary, I watched some of them speeches. She absolutely freaking kicked these guys in the noise. It was freaking great.
did.
I loved watching her over there. I was like, this is freaking awesome, man. This is what I want our country to say to these people. I'm not going to vote for her for president. I mean, if she's a nominee, I would, but she ain't getting there. But yeah, that was freaking awesome what she did over there.
This guy right here, I'm going to put a picture of him up. This is add the DGBO Ebo. I don't know, some crazy
Adeji Ebo.
I don't even try.
Probably
he's a director of the UN Office of Disarmament Affairs. Think about that. They have an office called Disarmament Affairs. And he was speaking during the UN Security Council meeting. This was in October 27 of 2022, this picture here. But this guy, you want to hear some of his quotes?
Oh, yeah.
So he's got one here. The adoption of the set of political commitments is a tremendous achievement, which I have no doubt will be endorsed by our 78th session of the UN General Assembly, Ebo said. The framework's objectives aim to curb the transportation of small arms into conflict zones. By the way, they don't define that term either, conflict zones. They don't define it. Preventing unplanned explosions at munition sites and recognizing the increased role of women in ammunition management. I don't know what the hell that matters, whether it's a man or a
ammunition
woman
management now.
Yeah,
like, what?
Are you kidding me? That's just one quote.
These people come up with some weird.
Oh yeah, here's some other ones from him. He called the framework a ray of hope for the disarmament community and the peoples of the world who have long suffered from the scourge of war and armed violence exacerbated by the mismanagement of illicit flows of conventional ammunition. I guarantee you he means us when he talks about that. And then he also said that the elaboration of the global framework is truly a milestone in our collective efforts towards a durable peace, security, and sustainable development. Guys, that's what these people do. That's how they think. They think they're a one world government, and I'll never submit to that myself. But you listen to his wording. Words matter. And he uses a lot of these key words that you hear these leftists and socialists talk about. To me, this is something we really got to keep an eye on, because we have to make sure that our congressional delegations all across the country know this.
BHO was president. They actually had a vote on it in the Senate for the UN Arms Treaty. Remember that?
Yes, they did. And that was for the trafficking of small arms.
And it barely got beat. Yep. But it did. I'm not so sure it would now in the Senate, but.
So I'm going to go to a couple comments here.
Yep, go for it, Clayton.
David Fetting, he's chiming in here, 1760 Sports. UN is the ground floor of a one world order. And yeah, just, that's what I was alluding to. Gene Cox, the UN sucks. Absolutely. We shouldn't. You know what? If we pulled our funding, they wouldn't exist.
Tell us how you really
fund
think,
most of it.
Yeah. What Trump did. Remember, Trump, pay your fair share, man. They all pissed off at him.
So David said, this is hearsay to me, but I was told by an ammo manufacturer that the government contracts that they rotate mill ammo every 10 to 20 years in the reserves because of a speculated life shelf. Could very well
Clay,
be.
I tell you what, when I do I'm going to have to do a couple Second Amendment bullet points, because I do have something that pertains to ammo life that I think, now that we're talking about it, you and most people are going to like you to hang around and listen. So
we'll make sure we do it.
Okay.
We're probably going to go an hour and a half the way it looks. It seems
it always is. Yeah. I mean,
so we could do a 2-hour show on radio with the advertisements. But anyway.
Yeah. So if real quick, I'll throw something in there for people who have never done a radio show. When you do a 2-hour radio show, when they do all their advertising, and it ends up being 65 to 72 minutes. So and Clay and I go an hour and 40 easy. So and we could go 2 hours. I'll promise you that. So yeah, go ahead, Clayton.
All right. So Gene's he says, were these shooters over the weekend right-wing extremists with licensed arsenals? Yeah, that we'd have to have one according to these guys.
We're going to talk about one Friday, Gene, and definitely not a right-winger.
Eric Newman, all my ammo sunk with the boat when I was shooting carp. Bummer, nothing to look at here, government people.
Give me those.
And then Gene's got another one in here chiming in. He goes, "How's it going in West Africa?" Yeah, exactly.
They don't know what he's referring to. They disarmed everybody there.
Yep.
And guess what? These guys come in with AKs, and they take these villages, and you don't agree with them. They stretch you over a log, and they chop your freaking arms off with a machete. Worse, and way worse than that. I'm giving you like the easy part of it.
So there's a guy here and he works for NRA ILA. He does a heck of a job too. James Barnowski, and he's the NRA director of international affairs. And he says it's the way of the UN. It's a game of chess and not checkers, and it is. I mean, when you're always playing with these idiots. Well, he points out a few things. He talked about how it could have been worse. That they changed a few things, got some things stuck out of there. But he talks about how you see the words stockpile and end user, which I talked about, that they basically don't have an end definition. There's no defined definition of it. It could be 1 million rounds in a government stockpile, or it could be 25 rounds in a local police station, or as we pointed out, it could be 25 rounds, one box of 22 shells in your own private collection. I mean, this is the problem.
The UN wants to control the stockpile of the United States government. I'll promise you that. This is how much. This is all you need. We're the big daddy, man. We'll come save you if you need help. You don't. And
that's what he says there. He goes, right now, he says that we got it. It's limited to governments as it's currently written. We argue to confine it, but he even thinks, he's just like I said. He said, I think this language will be removed when it goes to the General Assembly. And a huge effort will be made in September when the General Assembly meets to make this apply to individual users. And what I'd really like to see is, okay, let's say they do this. And it's just like I was just visiting or just talking about. How are they in this country? Because I'm going to tell them to get bent. I mean, I can't imagine that our local sheriffs, or even the ones that I don't trust, are not going to come and knock on your door, because I'll shoot them.
They're sending an IRS tactical team on you, Clay.
That's fine.
You're not paying enough. You're not paying enough carbon tax for your cattle farting.
I guarantee you, I'm going out in a blaze of glory and a spent pile of brass. I'm done. I reached my line here a while ago, and I'm done.
Yeah.
When it comes to that.
So kind of stuff. I'm gonna go into this thing on shelf life here, Clay. It's pretty short and sweet and to the point here.
I was pretty much wrapped up on that. So okay. I guess if you want, let's go right into our 2A bullet.
Go ahead and finish her up, and I'll go with my thing.
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So yeah, put a little exclamation point on Clay's thing. Keep your eye on the UN. Believe me, they're buddies with Joe Biden. They're suckled up to him big time, just like Joe is to the Chinese. So
this is what they want to do with our Constitution, right there. They want
right there. Yeah. If you're listening on a podcast, it was a Bill of Rights getting burnt and it was on fire. So yeah, okay. So here we go. I don't have all the shot, the life expectancy of all ammunition, but shot shell life. So the question here is, what is the usage life of shotgun shells, and what is the best way to dispose of old ammunition? And that's John Taylor. He's a contributing editor here to American Rifleman and the NRA. Says, while I can't give you a definitive, quote, wear-out date for shot shells, much depends on how they were stored. The common cool, dry place advice comes to mind. If properly stored, their lifetime might be indefinite. Sergeant Major Byron Akers, U.S. Army retired, was the non-com in charge of the shotgun element and the Army marksmanship unit in Fort Benning, Georgia during the 1970s. He mentioned to me on a prior assignment at the Radford Arsenal in Virginia, the unit discovered a large number of World War I era paper case shot shells. Remember now, this was in the 70s. This is from World War I, 1913 or 14 to 1918. And the unit discovered a large number of World War I era paper case shot shells that were partially eaten by mice. He said they picked out the good ones and shot them. As far as disposal is concerned, unless they have been wet or appear to be in bad shape, the preferred method is to take such shells out and shoot them. Otherwise, recycling facilities often have ammunition disposal protocols, which I've never heard of. Your local police or sheriff may also take them. So these guys in the 70s were shooting off, paper shotgun shells from World War I. And now we got plastic, man, and the primers are always sealed. That might be indefinite.
It just might. I can tell you right now, my grandfather had some old paper shotgun shells that back when we were kids. I mean, we're talking, 40 years ago, literally. We were shooting them. Probably shouldn't have. They shot fine, but just the value of them alone in original Winchester boxes. Yeah. It was stupid that we shot them.
It reminds me of Mad Max Road Warrior. Remember, he had that double barrel and he'd grab their shotgun shells and push on them, and they broke in half because those are the paper shotgun shells in there.
Yeah, we
Good
shot
old
'em.
80s movie there, back when movies were good.
Oh
So
yeah, back when they still entertained you and had fun with it. Yeah. So
well,
all
Eric's
right.
got something up here about the shotgun shells.
Let's see what's Eric have to say. I got paper shells and still uses them. He probably still
There you
reloads them.
go.
Can you reload them? I don't even know.
Yeah, can you even reload those? Boy, man,
Uh,
I'd be the hulls. Yeah, I don't
I
know
really
about
have no
that.
clue. I know I can. I mean, I reload my plastic ones all the time. I know that lead shot loads right into them steel cases, or
Mhm.
into those plastic ones.
Gene
Smart
has one
steel.
on here on us too. There.
Says I wouldn't put my head in front of a World War I shot shell.
Yeah, I think I'm not
He
sure.
used a little different word.
He might have meant what he
Maybe
said there.
that.
I wouldn't know about now. Well, the 70s, man, that's when I was born. So them babies are 50 some years old now, 50 more on top of the World
Eric,
War
he goes,
One.
the
So.
paper ones I have are hand loads from an old guy in Lemon. So yeah, so they could be. I imagine they could. I mean,
Mhm.
I never have loaded them, but might be something.
Yeah, I
have
don't
to
shoot
try.
shotgun enough when I autocorrect. Sure, Gene. I just go buy them, and I'm gonna get into some bird hunting this fall again. I think.
You know, I got into reloading shotgun shells mainly because I was shooting a lot of trap, and you
Mhm.
could buy a lot of trap loads fairly reasonable. The problem is I live a long ways from where I could buy them. I did it out of necessity so
Mhm.
that I could just load up 100 rounds or 200 rounds and take with me when I went trap shooting. And I mean, it was nothing to go through 100 rounds of shotgun shells on any given night shooting trap, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I
Yeah,
should
well,
start
we're
doing
looking
it
for an
again.
ammo sponsor, aren't we, Clay?
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's David chiming in here. Don't buy Black Cloud. Just use spent primers. Okay.
Really? Okay, I have seen the Black Cloud, man. They make it look like that stuff's just badass.
I've never used it, but like I said, when it comes to shotgun shells, especially,
Mhm.
well, anything, I reload everything pretty much. The first box of ammo I had bought in a long time was those 44 mags I brought to the 2A day because I didn't
Mhm.
have any good ones loaded that I could use in the Desert Eagle. And that thing's finicky. You got to have some pretty good stuff. So
Yeah, I seen you guys are having a few issues with it over
we
there.
were.
So
Well, I had some lighter rounds in there, and it just don't shoot them. It just doesn't. Oh, what we got
yeah.
here? J.R. Havens might bird hunt. Get hungry, JD. All right, JR.
JR, I'm the camera guy now. I was gonna do them. So I suppose I can. No, I am gonna bird, and I'm good.
No,
I'm gonna use my buddy's
I think this
410.
year I need to come up, and I'll do the video, and so that
Yeah,
I make
do
sure
it,
we
man.
have a good battery and turn it on right.
I'll make you a deal, JR. I'm gonna bird hunt, but then you got to be able to climb them fences real easy. So
There we go. Dan Brown, he chimes in, he says companies still make paper trap loads. I see. Okay, I
they
did
do
not know
reload.
that.
Okay.
I haven't been up on that, and I haven't kept up on it. So appreciate that info. I did not know that.
Awesome.
And then Eric's got. I used to load. I used to load a pile of shot shells. Made some turkey loads that I called sticks and dynamite. I've got some pretty heavy loads too that I like to use, just that I loaded for certain things. And I used to load a lot too. I mean, I've got tons and tons of.
Man, I mean, when I was a
shotgun
kid, my
stuff.
dad would just constantly be loading them things. But
I mean, I even bought a progressive mech reloader, so that I was loading one every time I pulled that handle. The double A hull is one of the best. I've got a ton of those. I
yeah,
love the double A
that's
hulls.
like the red shell with the black
Yep.
casing,
And
right?
I've
The
even
black
got
hull.
some of them are a silver or a gray color.
Or red
So
hull with the black letters is what I always remember them as.
Yep.
Actually.
So I do love my double A hulls. Them things, I've reloaded them until they were cracking, and I finally had to get rid of them.
Actually, JR said, "LOL, yes." Hey, I know you got access to a way better camera than I got, so
There we go.
it.
We might be able to include some of that footage, on this
Yeah.
little show called In the Crosshairs.
Yeah, give Clay
or
the
something,
crash
yeah.
course, and then we can use that on In the Crosshairs. It work out pretty sweet, actually. I think.
Yeah. Trappist Brenner Black Cloud do a number on Yotes off of a snowmobile.
Yeah, see the Black Cloud is the most from what I've ever seen that I like to advertise. It was either I think it was for coyotes, or am I thinking of? No, I'm thinking of dead coyote, but it was like for
I've never
geese
used
all
it.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David's got I can't hit anything with a shotgun. I'll play cameraman for a day. There we go.
Well, you'll have a good time for partying with us. Do you guarantee that, Dave?
I suppose if I
Yeah,
come up,
JR, love it, buddy.
I suppose I'm gonna have to pull my own camper up there. I think yours is full, isn't it?
I Trav still got his up there. We probably got room for you. The blind guy's pulling up there too, and he, all the coins he has, man. That thing just coming in there like a.
There you go.
Yeah, it looks like Dale Earnhardt pulling up or something.
I love it. So, all right. So I'll tell you what, we're just at 6 after. So I'm going to do a bullet point then. If you
yep, go for it, Clayton. You bet, buddy. Do it.
So I got one here, and it's on all you RFK fans. Now we've heard a lot of things about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
He's awesome.
And, of course, he's made it real clear that he's Second Amendment settled, and I'm putting up a picture right here.
Yep, read what he
not
says.
Taking not taking guns away, and he said that. I mean, he stated it, I believe, in New Hampshire at a town hall or something like that, basically saying that he made it clear that he's that he's not going to take guns.
I said he looks like Jerry Jones in that picture.
He kind of does. I even know who that is. How about that, huh?
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead, Clay. I kind of interrupt you. Say again what you said. What he said in New Hampshire there.
Basically, he said that the Second Amendment is settled and he's not taking it away. And I've even heard guys like Clay and Buck talking. Maybe he's the guy that Trump should have as his running mate as a vice president. I'm never going to support that. He's a Democrat. This guy, I mean, look at all the other issues, and he's a far leftist.
I heard A.W.R. Hawkins, who's awesome on Breitbart on Second Amendment. He's like, yeah, he's my second guy. He's my number 2 guy. And I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? God, you're suckling the honey.
It just shows you how the winds of in the now, the 5-second, basically the 5-second clip people. That's how they do it. They switch that fast. Anyway. So he said it on a News Nation town hall on Wednesday night, and I think that was last week, that he would an assault weapons ban if it reached his desk, President. Huh? Mm-hmm.
Say it again, Clay. I want to hear you say it one more time. What he said.
He said that he would sign an assault weapons ban if it reached his desk. Mm-hmm. Now here's his exact quote. They talked about it. And that's a big Democrat thing, the assault weapons ban, even though the first one didn't do anything to curb anything at all. And we got 10 years of results from that. But that don't, facts are irrelevant. It's all about the basically the narrative. So he was asked if he would support such a measure as an assault weapons ban. Here is his response, his exact response. If we can get a consensus on it, if Republicans and Democrats agreed and it passed Congress, then I would sign it. That's his answer. He'd definitely sign a completely worthless anti-Second Amendment gun bill that would turn, kind of like the pistol brace regulation, millions of people into felons overnight with the stroke of a pen.
Did they, Clay, by chance ask him what he defines an assault weapon as?
Not that I could see, and I didn't go pull the footage. Not in this article. They don't talk it about, but anything that passes Congress, especially if the Democrats control, we know what that's going to be.
Anything that's a semi-automatic or anything that takes more than 5 rounds. Either
we know for sure that it'll be ARs, AK-47s, anything that quote looks.
Do we got to turn in our? Do we got to turn in our logos too? Then Clay,
they can come and take it. I challenge them. They might get it, but there's some going with me. So the funny thing is he made this statement, and it was basically minutes after saying that guns are not the problem. He indicated Americans have always had guns, that Americans used to bring firearms to school for gun clubs, and no one thought about shooting children. Hell, I used to bring one of my shop projects was rebluing and refinishing the stock of a couple 22 Springfields I had that were my grandfather's, and that was my shop project. I literally had them in my locker. I had them in a gun case, carried them into school. Nobody thought nothing about it. Took them down to shop class and did my project, got them done, took them home. So I mean,
so I want just one reporter one time when these guys say this to go, yeah, but you just said you're not going to take guns away, and now you said you want to ban them.
Yeah.
How do you
he's playing the flip side.
How do you put 2 and 2 together there? Yeah.
So John Kerry, he's a flip flopper.
Wow. You know what? Let me just play a little game here, Clay. You know what not weapons of war, to which case they should have the 2 guns and the 701 guys raise their hands and go, everything's a weapon of war and we can prove it.
even the AR is now.
Yeah, even the AR. Your bow and arrow, your everything, the spear. Everything. So yeah, I want somebody to just ask these guys when they say that once.
Yeah, you need to have someone in there that will actually ask them that. So, and here's another thing. He said in New Hampshire also, he says, anyone who tells you that we can end the violence to our children that's going on by removing people's guns in the margin that has been left to us by this very expansive Supreme Court decision, which was Bruin, is not being truthful with you. Well, true. Bruin basically settled that, and it kind of did. But so he's saying that, yep, Supreme Court made this decision. But then in the next breath, well, I'll sign an assault weapons ban.
He said banning
was
was not going to stop school shootings, and the Supreme Court was right. But yeah, I want to ban assault weapons.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the question to ask him is, sir, why would you actually sign legislation knowing that you have a Supreme Court case that will overturn it because they already have? Bruin overturns that. Plain and simple.
It's for the kids, Clay.
Yeah, it's for the kids because I want to see people go through a lengthy
weapons
battle in court for years and spend a lot of money.
So, I mean, speaking of shotgun shells, guess what? Assault weapon war.
That weapon. Well, we did a whole thing about that, didn't we?
Sorry, Robbie.
After 49 episodes, we've got some history ourselves. We've done shows about that already. So. June 5th, he said to Breitbart News, he goes, and this was between Elon Musk and RFK. He said, my position on gun control is that I'm not going to take away anybody's guns. I'm a constitutional maximalist. Even though that's a word. And the issue has been settled by the Supreme Court.
I remember he said that on Todd's show.
He turned around and said in the next town hall and made it clear that he would sign the assault weapons ban. So
come on, dude.
And this guy is not the guy. These are not the guys.
But people are just so. Oh, see, we can work with the other side. He's a Democrat, and he's on our team. Hey, he's got some good. He's got some points that I say I agree with him on. But this guy is not a Republican. No, he's not. I guarantee you, if him and Trump ever had a face-off in a debate, you would see how big of a leftist this guy is compared to.
Jay Titan, he asked you ever come down to Georgia?
No, I'll tell you what, the farthest southeast I've ever been is Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I've been to Minneapolis. That's probably a little.
I keep telling him, though, guys, he's been invited.
Not that I don't want to go.
He can go to Florida with us. He really can. And that's a fun hog trip. And if we drive it, well, I'm not going to drive through Georgia.
JD's, I got some nice things, but JD's not very financially, JD's, I don't have a lot of spare money for vacations, put it that way.
Oh, it's cheap. Nothing to it.
I'm all my bills and that stuff paid off, but it's,
Yep. No, you know what? I've been to Georgia a few times. In fact, Vance, he was listening earlier here. He's from Georgia, part of our Rax Adventure team. I can't drive in Georgia. My driving privileges have been suspended indefinitely, but I'll tell everybody about that some other day. But so I figure I'll either. What's that?
Maybe Governor Kemp will tune in. He'll let you off the hook, man.
There you go. I figured I'll just avoid it. I won't drive there. I'll fly over it. I'll drive
shoot
around
some clay pigeons, man.
Just don't get pulled over at 92 mile an hour. And that's all I'm saying. So anyway.
I'd love to meet you someday, Jay Titan. That'd be awesome.
That'd be fun. And like I said, we were talking about flying down this next trip in January. Now we've been looking. Looks like the flights have went up quite a bit. So we might drive it. I don't know. Because now some of us would like to take a few things with us. And then, maybe this trip, do one more trip driving and then leave a bunch more stuff down there so that then we can fly in whenever we want. We'll see. I know that we're going for sure, though, in January.
All right. Since we're talking about assault weapons and magazines and ammunition, and go ahead and read Eric's comment first. I got a quick one here for people. A lot of people like this.
You can drive there. You just can't get caught. That's
it's that easy, man. Clay Reynolds.
There you go. I'm the bandit.
Gotta
get a black Trans Am.
Yep. You'd stuff a black Dodge Diesel all chipped out. There you go.
There we go.
All right. So this is real quick. It's just some gear stuff. It pertains. Smith & Wesson. They're giving they announced, it was last week actually, the start of its Summer Freedom Days promotion program. It'll offer 3 free magazines with the purchase of select qualifying concealed carry Smith & Wesson pistols purchased between July 1 and August 31st. And disclaimer, Smith & Wesson doesn't sponsor Clay and I. If they want to, I'll promise you we're wide open to that, baby. Because I love Smith & Wesson firearms. Participants can receive the following in added magazine value for each new eligible firearm purchase. Pistol magazine capacities vary depending on model, of course, and whatever state you live in. And offers redeemable either online or by mail. So you can buy, and you go to right here, full terms, conditions, smithandwesson.com/rebates. It'll tell you the pistols and what magazines you can get. You get 3 free magazines if you buy a handgun. And some of the handguns here, Clay, again, not sponsored by Smith & Wesson. What's nothing from Smith & Wesson.
But definitely open.
Yeah. But again, definitely open to it for sure. Love your guys' guns. M&P Shield 1 and 2.0. Shield Plus, Shield Easy, Equalizer, which I love that Equalizer. That thing looks awesome. Bodyguard, 380 pistol. Again, it just says capacities depending on model, no substitutions. But yeah, I mean, you can go on their website, like I said, smithandwesson.com/rebate. That's awesome, man. If you can get three free magazines, because a pistol magazine is not like buying a goddamn Magpul one for your AR that's $13. Those things are like $20 plus. I mean, my Ruger, my LC9, them suckers are like $35. So even for my M&P 2.0, my 5-inch barrel, and I think I got those on sale at some point, and them things are even like $25 a piece. So if you're getting 3 free ones, that's a hell. And the Roy Mercer, that's one hell of a deal.
How big a boy are you? So yeah, no, absolutely, go for it. Yeah, and Smith & Wesson, anyone listening? Yeah, give us a call. Yeah, email us, JD at gunsinthe701.com or Clay at gunsinthe701.
Absolutely.
So I have to put this one up. Marty chimed in. He goes, JD watched Deliverance as a kid, so he ain't going any farther south.
My ears ain't getting twisted.
You're not going to squeal like a pig, huh?
I don't squeal good. I don't wear white underwear either, like old Ned Beatty. So
this next generation, they ain't even have a clue what we're talking about. David's got in. He just chimed in. So he goes, another cool gun news is that the new production Remington 700s are coming with Timney triggers. Really? I didn't know that.
I did read that. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, now I won't have to put them in myself, right?
Yeah. Usually Timney's going good. I don't know if I said that on here before. My brother-in-law, he didn't want to send his trigger in to Browning. He's got a Hell's Canyon 6.5 kilo. I'm like, just send that thing in loose, because it was hard to adjust. I'm like, I wouldn't crank on that. Send it in. Didn't want to, bought a Timney. Man, I had to grind that stock out trying to get that thing fitted in. I finally did, and it is sweet. Timney triggers are awesome, but
usually they work real well.
Yeah. It worked good. Yeah, I mean, Timney's make super good triggers.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I think we got to do one more sponsor ad, and then come back with Commie Company of the Week.
Clay's Commie Companies. Yep, and then happy ending. All right, Hank. Hey, wait a minute, Clay. You know what? The UN. I got something for you.
Nasty person.
I love it. Hey, before we do that, I am going to slip this in here. Then I'm going to put this up here, guys. Okay. And those guys that have sent in their checks, got them. Sent the ticket stubs to you. But we got our Grant Sioux County Farm Bureau raffle going on. This is a Noreen AR-10, manufactured in Belgrade, Montana. A&A Engraving did some fantastic work on this gun. Awesome. We've got some stainless steel plates in there that are engraved with all the cool stuff. It's been Cerakoted in a black. What's that?
Anti-walk trigger pins. You can see them on there.
I mean,
got a sweet trigger on it. Breaks about 3.5 pounds.
And I looked these up, and they retail for about $3,000 now. So this is one heck of a gun. You're definitely going to want to get your ticket. $20 a ticket. Just go ahead and email me at clay@gunsinthe701.com, and we will get it taken care of. I did see some comments that came in on our Facebook Messenger that I missed, and I did get them now, but please don't send them there because I don't check that often, and neither does Jamie. So just email us and then we do have some in Bismarck. Jamie's got a few, so just let us know. And I want to thank everybody who's purchased.
Oil and Turnus might have a few extra ones too,
So we got tickets kind of
Drop down to
scattered
the
out
city.
there, and the board members will have them Friday in a couple of days, the rest of the board members. So yeah, definitely get in on that because they're going fast. They are. They're truly going fast. So.
All right, so one more commercial here for one of our sponsors, and then we're coming back with Clay's Commie Companies and the happy ending of the week. The 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads. So now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lowry you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service.
All right, I'm going to put David's comment up here.
Yes, sir.
Talking about that AR-15 or that AR-10. He says this one comes with the, is that a, how do you pronounce it? Geisley trigger.
Geisley.
And that comes right in this model. David
It's
said
sweet.
he's got 7 tickets left. Oh, he's been rolling through them, hasn't he? And
Yeah,
Waylon's out already. Waylon, if you want some more, I can definitely get some more.
Waylon, you need more, let me know.
He's got them all sold out. So as you guys can see, these babies are selling fast. Trampus, I already got yours reserved, so you don't have to worry about that. And if you need to make out a check, you can make it out to Grant County NDFB and just give it to whoever you're buying your tickets from. They'll get it to me, and you're taken care of. So, yeah, again, appreciate it, guys. And I have a feeling, but we will either draw that weekend of August 19th because I'm pretty sure we'll be sold out like we always are, maybe have a handful left. If we don't have them sold out, we got till December 31st to sell them out. But we haven't had to do that
a hunting cartridge.
There you go. Test it out.
Turns out I got buck tagged this year. What was Waylon say he'll take? What's he got? He's got something up there.
Okay, I'll get a couple more books.
All right, buddy. I'm gonna swing by tomorrow. Gotcha.
You still got some, Jamie?
I'm pretty sure I got a couple. Okay. If I don't have a couple books, I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me know, and I can always get more up to you guys.
Yep.
All right, guys. So here it is. It's going to be the Clay's Commie Company of the week.
That's for all you AK-47 lovers out there.
Oh my goodness, I'll have to put a little AK in the corner on that.
Yeah, you do. Although I do like that part of communism. Not like I do AR-15s, but I do like them.
Yeah, I got an AR or an AK.
Oh yeah,
I like.
Yeah, I shoot some AK.
So right, my Commie Company of the week here, and I had a different one kind of picked out, but I was reading some articles about these guys, and then it kind of sparked a memory of things. And so my Commie Company of the week is Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream. So I got their logo up there with the Russian flag, the USSR flag, really, guys, from when they were the USSR. And, of course, the burning Constitution, because that's what all commies want to do. They want to burn us down. So the thing with Ben & Jerry's is they've done a lot of things. They have actually, the two owners sold out a long time ago to a different company, but the two owners were progressive leftist liberals anyway. They support Democrats anytime and every time they can. They donate to them. And when they do that, guys, the problem with that is when they do that, then they're going to be supporting gun control. But they took it a step farther. They were supporting buyback programs out there.
Buyback is a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem. Buyback problems. I had it right, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
But I'm telling you right now, here's their website. I'm going to bring this up. So here's basically.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable.
This is right on their website, guys. This is their top stories, and I mean, you go up here, get involved. You can learn about the things they do. Look at this one.
Hold on, Clay. Go back to that. Yeah, go back to that first page and read that for people who listen to the podcast. Yeah.
So here it is. No more silence. End gun violence. Young people are demanding action from politicians to end gun control. But some of the other issues also is they're mad about Roe versus Wade. which was a great Supreme Court deal.
Mhm.
The U.S. get this over the 4th of July weekend. U.S. was founded on stolen indigenous land, and let's commit to returning it. I went and read that whole story. My goodness, I liked how some people pointed out that they themselves were in Vermont, where their building and their things were built is on. It's all, I guess you could call it stolen land in a way, but I'm so sick and tired of
Let me
this
say this,
progressive
Clay.
crap.
Anybody, any person or company who believes that, and I mean every piece of land on this earth was taken from another one, and in the indige
Yes.
here in America took it from other indige. But if you really believe that everything was stolen, we're just pieces of crap for that. Find your nearest Indian reservation and turn over all your land and all your belongings
Yep.
to them,
Give it to them.
and then get the hell out.
But make sure you get the right tribe, not the
Yeah.
one that occupied it
Yeah,
in the
make
end.
sure you get to the one that first had the
First
land
had it.
before another one took it from
You know,
them,
the
but through
Sioux, they
violence.
kicked out people, and they had
Yeah.
the Blackfeet.
Yeah.
We can go into that whole history.
Yeah, I
and
mean, you can get
make sure
mad
the
all
right
you
one.
want if that pisses you off. Reality pisses people off, and facts are facts. I'm sorry, but that's how it is, man.
Caden
It
Foss
sucks.
chiming
You're
in
on the
here on
wrong end, but
YouTube. He says Ben and Jerry's is very commie. I
yeah.
love it. And they are. So that's
And
part. Here's
furthermore,
part of that.
Clay, the,
Go ahead.
the abortion thing, it isn't banned. You can go to a
It isn't
state. It
banned.
was 10th Amendment. Let states decide on it, which it should be, because it wasn't specifically mentioned in the Bill of Rights.
That's right.
The right of the women to have abortion shall not be infringed. No, that's not a real thing.
No.
But you can go to states what's left up to decide and have an abortion there all you want. So
Yeah, exactly. So here's one of their statements. I'll put that up here too. End gun violence. President Biden issued executive orders, and yes, Congress passed a bipartisan, if ultimately toothless compromise bill. Really? Oh, yeah, I'm not even going to go down that. We ain't got enough time. But all the pro money, the pro gun money, and the reason I took this quote, along with outdated
gun money.
and anti-democratic rules like the filibuster, right, ensures that gun violence prevention legislation is going nowhere. Now, here's the catch, guys. Here's one. Or at least that's what the gun lobbyists want you to think. Because while young people may not have as much money to spend influencing politicians as the National Rifle Association, NRA, they are taking to the streets. They are raising their voices and doing it to literally save each other's lives.
Really,
So-
like they did in Philly over the weekend?
Yeah, I was just going to hint on
Like
that.
they did on Juneteenth celebrations?
And why don't you tell everybody just what happened here? What was that person? What was the shooter over the
Yeah, it
weekend?
was a gender confused individual. It was a man who thought he was a woman.
And what was he? A black guy, right?
Yeah, yep. But you know what? It's getting brushed under the rug because of that. If it was a person who looked like Clayton in her eye, guess what? That'd be front and center. They'd still
Absolutely.
be there. White supremacy is this big danger to the United States of America. But guess what? It's not. And what did this guy shoot? Like 20 some people and killed?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
sounds ridiculous.
No, I don't care. You know what? I don't care what race you are. That really should have nothing.
Yeah,
to
you do, Clay. I hear you guys at show all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, to me,
You
if
like
you do
Trump,
bad things,
don't
you're
you? There
bad.
you go.
So I'm just gonna scroll through this. Ending their gun violence. Enough is enough.
It's
You
some
go read
woke
this whole
crap. It's
thing.
just bullshit.
And if you look at where their stuff is coming from, like this here, I hovered over it. This is from the New York Times. And then when I went and looked at that gun violence child data that they're quoting here, it
Mhm.
comes from things like the CDC and Moms Demand Confiscation.
There
Basically,
you go.
think about your anti-gun groups, and that's who they're referencing. Every town, whatever crap from
Gun Violence
Bloomberg.
Archive.
I mean, this is exactly what you got here. Is everytownresearch.org if you hover over this one.
Mhm.
Every town is you want to talk about a diluted, delusional, over freaking funded piece of crap group. It's that one. They lie.
Yep.
There's
Yeah.
some
So
right there
don't
to
eat
even
if
say
you
it
if
right
you
there.
like your Second Amendment rights, don't eat at Ben and Jerry's because they're 100%. And if they could be 110% against it, they would.
Yeah, here's the March for Our Lives, old David Hogwash and that group. And I mean, if you get on Ben and Jerry's website, and they're proud of this. This is just the gun thing.
Oh,
You get
yeah.
up here and go to their activism issues. Look at this. They have a tab. Our progressive values.
I mean, they are a woke. Ben and Jerry's is a wokeosaurus, big time.
Look at this. Capitalism and the wealth it produces do not create. That's what do not.
How did they get to be millionaires? And have all this
Opportunity for
influence?
everyone equally. Yeah, I mean, evidently they must have been the only exception.
Well, now that we're millionaires, the rest of you people can eat. Let them eat cake.
And then they had this whole thing about just think of your leftist, any leftist issue, and it's there. I mean, that's what they're talking about. At least they're front and center about it. I'll give them that. I mean,
like Clay said, yeah, I'll give them that. It's Commie Company. They're anti-American, man.
Check this out: human rights and dignity, social and economic justice,
so
environmental.
Like Clay, like we're against human rights, like you or I or anybody listening is against.
Evidently,
no,
we are.
You know,
because we're white and we're males, so we must be horrible people. You know, here's issues they care about. Check these movements out: racial justice, fair trade, rights and dignity of refugees. That means illegals.
You're in the wrong country. Go
democracy
to other countries.
is in our hands. First of all, we don't have a democracy.
I was just gonna say, that's a good thing the Dems always say. Our democracy is in danger. We don't have a democracy.
Reimagine criminal justice. Oh, gee.
Well, don't break the law. You won't get your ass thrown in the clink.
Mentally disturbed idiot rights for mental confused people.
Campaign finance reform. Hey, I might be on board with that because the Democrats dole way more money into freaking elections than Republicans.
Their non-GMO standards. Don't even get me started on that. The climate. Look at this. They got climate impact and then climate justice. Huh.
Well, there's a spot at your place there in South Dakota for your ranch. All your cows are farting too much.
That's right. And I should be taxed and fined for it. But this is the kind of crap, guys, that Ben and Jerry supports.
Oh man, it's
intolerable.
And
they've been, like I said, they've been anti-gun for some time. But they've went way.
I mean, I didn't even honestly, Clay. I didn't even know they went that far over the edge. So, and I wouldn't ate there to begin with.
That's like one shot said. He says, "There's other ice cream out there."
Oh
there
shit, you're better off going to Mickey D's and eating one. I'll guarantee you that.
Or make your own. That's more fun anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone bleeds red. Skin color ain't none. That's right, Eric. Absolutely. Yep. And it isn't a racial problem, as far as it's the person inside. There's good black people. There's bad black people.
I mean, we could do Clay and I could do. People. We could do 2 hours on that, and it ain't going to be enough. And we're not going to convince. If somebody thinks that way, man, you're not going to convince them back. I mean,
Gene Cox, gun bans cause global war. I had trouble spitting it out because I was kind of trying to laugh at the same time.
I agree, Gene. 100% they do. I'll guarantee you. Climate change, by the way, it's not global warming. They cause climate change.
They even went as far as to name ice cream. They made certain ice cream flavor and named them after these progressive movements. I mean, it's just like I said. They win my Commie Company of the Week award, and they deserve.
Would you like a double scoop of Gifford sherbet today?
There you go. Maybe they ought to have a one that's colored red, and then on top they can put some kind of a hammer and sickle on top of it. Call it their Commie flavor or something.
I want one of them ice cream scoops, and they put it in there, and it forms Trump's face, and they put it on the ice cream and watch them.
I love it. So anyway, I think I picked a good one.
That was a good one, man. I like that one. That was great.
And they made it really easy. I didn't realize they had put all that stuff on their website, and I'm glad they did because it makes it real easy for me to not go there and spend money.
So Ben and Jerry's, you know what?
Nasty person.
That's right.
And on top of that, go ahead and eat yourself a bag of phalluses.
Perfect. There you go. So.
All right, coming up right now. See, Clay, if that clerk was actually in a Ben and Jerry's, he wouldn't have been able to defend himself.
Yeah, that's right. Because he would have. I'm sure he would have listened, right?
And remember what we had a couple weeks ago, and I had the happy ending. 2/3 of the convenience store robberies end up in homicides for the person working. But yet you're supposed to just lay back and take it, and I'll just leave.
Yeah, don't make no sense, does it? Jay Titan says, "I hate everyone equally except for JD and Clay."
Appreciate that, Jay. Appreciate it.
So, hey, and David says K-Bar makes a sweet ice cream scoop. There we go. There we go.
Well, I'm on board with that.
All right. Happy ending. And I still love that intro. I even got, we got some fans of that last night out at Eric's. They love the intro.
Awesome. I love it too, man. Clay picked that out. That was perfect. First time Clay can vouch. First time he played that before we were on air, man. I damn near freaking crap my
Well, that
pants
worked. He
laughing.
goes, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was about 5 minutes straight of laughing by me. So we do have happy endings happen probably in America more than anywhere else, but we're gonna go a little bit to the east here, Clay. Over Bibi Netanyahu's country there.
There you go.
So this happened, I believe, last week. At least 7 people were wounded in a terrorist attack on the streets of Tel Aviv Tuesday afternoon before an armed citizen took out the attacker. The Times of Israel reported that 7 people were wounded when a Palestinian used a truck to ram Israelis, then got out of the vehicle and he started stabbing people. Jerusalem Post puts the number of wounded at 9. Now they kind of missed one here because actually an injured woman who was pregnant lost her kid because of that. So I mean that's right. The baby died because of that.
Maybe,
An armed civilian shot. An armed civilian shot and killed the attacker. The civilian said, and this is his own words, broken English, "I prayed gun would fire or else I was dead." CNN noted that Hamas claimed responsibility for the attack, and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad praised it. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu commented on the attack, saying, "Whoever thinks that such an attack will deter us from continuing our fight against terrorism is mistaken." There you go. So even over in Israel yet, where they do kind of have like their own Israeli NRA thing, because there's anti-gunners in Israel, believe that or not.
Oh, yeah. They're there.
Yeah. But luckily, this civilian had the gun. This guy ran over a bunch of people, started stabbing them. He took the attacker out with his gun.
And that's a
awesome.
happy ending. Very happy. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I guarantee you, if whoever was on the other end of the blade when he had a cog back and seeing him drop really thinks it's a happy ending. So.
Darn right they did. So, guys, I had a couple guys just text me. I don't know what happened to chat. I didn't do nothing, but it has disappeared.
What did?
I'm still the chat on the actual.
Oh.
On the
last one I got is Dave Fettig's K-Bar. I can't bring him up like you can. I'm not.
Yeah, I've been bringing them up. So we haven't really
run Chattertown.
Them, so
Master
I don't know
Blast
what happened.
Chattertown.
There we go. Marty Beard coming soon to a city near you. Boy, yes, Marty.
Yep.
I'm sorry. You know what? I wish I could have made it, Marty, to go over there coon hunting when you had that out there, but it just wasn't going to happen for me.
Well, if somebody jumps out of a vehicle with a knife and starts stabbing people, I'm more than happy to be right by Marty. So,
Kate asked me, "What was your second pick for Commie Company?" Well, you'll have to tune in next week. Maybe I'll do it next week.
Might be ProSec. Might be Capitalist Company next week.
I think
Blaze Capitalist Company.
Some of them. Yeah. Thanks, One Shot.
Thanks,
this is a great show. Keep it up and appreciate that. Absolutely. I'm just going through the comments here. Yasser Arafat wanted Israel to be anti-gun.
Netanyahu's, fairly pro-gun for that part of the world. I mean, he like we want him to be, but he's definitely not anti-gun.
So
yeah.
Well,
right,
I guess
let's do a little promoting here for coming.
Yeah, again, first I'm going to thank Lara Auto Repair down there at 309 Washington Street for being a sponsor, and they've been a founding sponsor since we started. I want to thank them and the North Dakota Blind Guy. And I'll tell you what, if you need some blinds, hit ndblindguy.com, and Wyatt and Dan will get you fixed up. Let them know you heard it right here on Guns of the 701, and I can't think of a better way to support freedom-loving, patriotic people other than our two sponsors for sure. And
we got to support each other. That's how it works.
Absolutely. So what do we got coming up Friday?
Friday night, you bet. Oh, man, guy thinks he's so good at stuff, and then he just mess up all the time. My Biden moment of the day. So Friday morning, 7:40 a.m. Mountain, 8:40 a.m. Central. Clay and I are on with Todd Mitchell on KFWR 5:50 a.m. and iHeartRadio. Mitchell in the morning. We're on for what, Clayton? About 20 minutes, right?
About 20 minutes. It usually is, yeah.
Yeah. So Clay and I, what were we talking about earlier today, Clay? We're gonna get into a little more in depth on.
Well, I know that we did a deal about Virginia and the game wardens that were traipsing through, basically trespassing because they think they got an open fields doctrine, and they do. And we're gonna
Yeah, they
go. We're
do.
gonna hit a little deeper on this. I did a little more digging because there was some updates to that case, and I found out that this goes all the way back to a 1920 Supreme Court decision
Mhm.
that essentially wiped out our Fourth Amendment rights. It really did. And then they had a chance to reaffirm it and change it in 1984, and they didn't do it then either. But we're going to go in a little more in depth on that on Friday. And I think I'm going to bring this back next Wednesday. I want to really touch deeper into that, just kind of let
Mhm.
everybody know where this goes, because now that I know this, I've already given this information to some of our North Dakota legislators,
Mhm.
and we're going to try to draft something to come up in the next session in 2025. We need to change that. That we can't have that standing here in North Dakota, and we can do that state. At least we can stop the state stuff. Federal's got to happen at a federal level. So
Yeah. I think, tell you what, another thing I think we might talk about on Todd's show, you got another like Hearing Protection Act coming up, which would deregulate suppressors and get them off the NFA. And guess what, Clay? Finally got like an audiologist group on board.
great, yeah.
My God, if you don't know what an audiologist is there, Goldberg, it's somebody who deals with your inner ear, your hearing. And so I think we're going to hit on that too.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, on Monday, every Monday, 11:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Oh, yeah.
12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be on right there. Yep. Jay Dillon, we're in the crosshairs. JD and Clay and Jay Dillon's a host. KFYRplus.com. We're going to we usually go through we got about 4 topics we go through with Jay. And we weren't on this Monday, of course, because of the Independence Day holiday. A lot of people had it off, including myself, which I appreciate. It was great. But yeah, so Friday, 8:40 a.m. Central, Monday, 12:30 a.m. or 12:30 p.m. Man, Clay, I tell you what, we're on a lot of things here. I feel bad.
Monday morning, we're going to be 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time, 12:30 p.m. Central Time.
Now
Clay
you're
and JD with host Jay Dillon in the crosshairs. In the crosshairs on KFYR.
Stuff's getting wild here.
It is. It is.
You heard that right? That was my head on my freaking mirror behind there. I leaned back too far. That's never happened before.
And of course, Friday with Mitchell in the morning, Todd Mitchell, 7:40 Mountain Time, 8:40 Central, on 5:50 a.m. right there on your radio dial. And guys, thanks for listening. I actually get a lot of feedback. I think Todd does too, and you do. Thanks for listening. And you know, K-Fire's they're the big stick in the area. They really are.
Both of them are both K-Fires.
And I can tell you right now, if you like what you're hearing, call Todd and tell him. And 701-258-05550. And you can just dial in there and let them know what you think of the show, because they like that feedback. They really do. I can tell you that the numbers we have, because we've been able to live stream it at the same time, are really good. And the podcast downloads are really good. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks for
good
listening
on both
to that.
of them, man. I mean, appreciate you guys.
It's actually putting up some pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
It's even shocked me and Jamie.
Yeah. So speaking of listeners, Clay, my dad and my cousin, I call him Uncle Fred. He's actually my cousin, but they went on a fishing trip to Lake of the Woods on a bus. Dad struck up a conversation with a guy from Parshall. Guy noticed my dad's guns in the 701 net. He said him and his wife listens to it. I don't remember the guy's name, but hey, if you're up there listening in Parshall, we appreciate the support. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're tuned in.
Yeah, and I ran into a guy that he recognized my voice when I was at the checkout counter, and he listens to the podcast. He comes over, hey, he says, I think you're that Clay guy. And I said, well, we were part of that Guns in the 701. I was actually wearing my hat, but he evidently didn't see that. But had a nice conversation with him, and yeah, he was way up there around that Arthur, North Dakota area. So if you're tuned in, thanks for tuning in.
Hey, tell Doug we said hi.
Yeah, tell Doug we said hi. That cowboy. Anyway.
Yeah. North Dakota redneck, somebody called him up.
We sure appreciate all that. And and then enjoy the hat, because we appreciate you. Wear it around, let people know what's going on. Always can hit us up at gunsin701.com.
You bet.
That's the easiest way to find everything. So yeah, appreciate all the support out there. I had no clue that guy was listening, just like your guy didn't. So
it's awesome.
We don't see them all because we can't track everything, especially if you're listening on the websites.
Yeah. Hey, so feel good about it when not everybody's getting tracked.
There you go. We're not NSA, so
Yeah, as much as they want to. All right, hey Jay Titan, good night, buddy. Good to all good people. Yeah, you keep your chin up, buddy, for sure.
Yep.
Appreciate you listening
Appreciate it.
down there in Georgia. That's awesome. Waylon, thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
Waylon.
Appreciate you.
It.
Awesome.
And,
appreciate everybody who tunes in.
I can tell you, we enjoy doing this, or we wouldn't do it. When we started this baby out, we didn't know where it would go. It's been quite an interesting ride. We're just coming up on a year here in August. So yeah, we appreciate all
3 weeks from tonight. I'm not going to be on. I'm going to be making a road trip, and Clay's going to have on Mr. Marty Beard.
He's going to fill in for JD. So we're going to have a substitute co-host, Mr. Marty Beard.
Yep, it should be a great show. I will be on that Friday when we're on Mitchell in the morning, though. So I'm going to
pick a week where I'm going to be gone. So JD's got to have something.
Oh yeah, I got something in mind. I got something in mind for sure. I do for sure.
So, all right, guys. Well, with that, we're gonna end the show tonight. We're already at 7:47.
We thought it was going to be shorter, Clay, and it was like one of the longer ones we've had in a while. So good topics, man. It was a great conversation, and I appreciate everybody.
Oh, he says, David Fetty, story time over. I don't want to go to bed.
Hey, man, I'm getting my mountain bike out. I'm going for a bike ride here. I got to burn off
David,
some calories.
There was a man from Nantucket. And anyway. Okay, we'll let everybody go tonight. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll get things loaded up on the website. I did not get everything uploaded and up to date last week, so I'll work on doing that tonight.
Facebook kind of button hooked us, so
so I mean that's just what happens. But we got everything kind of ready to roll, and I think we're ready to get back to normal. And everybody enjoy the rest of the week. Have a great weekend, and as we always say, keep your powder dry.
dry.
See you guys next week.